this is Stephanie with Ageless Living TV, and thank you so much for stopping by, and please hit the subscribe button. I am so excited today to have a guest. This is Cindy from Mimi's Mixed Bag YouTube channel, which I just love. If you're into kind of do-it-yourself, DIY, around the house, just all kinds of cool practical advice, you're going to love this channel. But we're going to delve in even more and find out about Cindy, who is the person behind the channel. So welcome, Cindy. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate your interest in wanting to hear my story. It's not anything glamorous or anything, but thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you your interest.
Well, I think the problem with Cindy's interview is there's too much to talk about. There's so many things that I think are of total interest. So I'm very excited. So let me give you the lowdown on Cindy first. Cindy lives in Memphis, Tennessee her whole life, which is worlds away from where I'm at. I'm in California. We're talking at the same time across the country. How cool is technology? So Memphis, Tennessee, she's happily married, mother of 2, grandmother of 3, and we're going to talk about that. She has an empty nest for the past couple of years. Very, very cool part of life, but also hard. So we'll talk about that also. Her husband is quickly approaching retirement age. Another big change. He's in law enforcement. In high school, Cindy decided to take the vocational route and become a hairdresser like her mother. And she did that for 7 years. After that 7 years, she decided to make a change and go back to college. At this time, she is married and has 2 toddlers. How old are they again?
Well, they were 6 months and 3 years old.
Oh my gosh, she went back to school. So what an inspiration right there. And it took 5 years, only 5 years, and you've got babies at home. That's crazy. Earned her bachelor degree in education and became an educator at elementary age for 12 years. Fantastic. So what a great story. Just to go back to school is so scary for people.
It is. Even at 25, I thought I would be the grandma, going, but I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it is a melting pot of ages, 25 up to, 30s and 40-year-olds in the class.
There's no age for
That's right.
Pretty much anything. So at one point after the 12 years, Cindy resigned her job as an educator to take care of her mother who was sick, and before her passing. And shortly before this happened, she became a grandmother. So a whole lot of life changes. And I just want to say this one statement that Cindy wrote to me, that she says she believes in the saying, when God closes one door, he opens another. And she believes that was true for her. And I absolutely love that. So many changes.
It was.
We will talk about that in a moment. She says the last 9 years have been the best in her life. And she has yet to regret walking away from her career. So no regrets. I love that. And because she cherished the time with her mother. So now a little bit of a slower life that she can enjoy, taking better care of herself. And I have to emphasize this because I love it so much. She says, I fill my time with what makes me happy. Could we all do that? I would love to see everybody trying to search for their happiness. And that's the beginning of her YouTube channel, Mimi's Mixed Bag. And we're going to have to hear more about that. She calls it her YouTube adventure, and it is. Anybody who started a channel knows it's quite an adventure. And it's been 6 years on YouTube. That's amazing to me because I'm like 6 months. So I'm a baby compared to, and I am excited to get some knowledge from Cindy on YouTube. She also enjoyed working part-time for a major greeting card company. Her grandchildren are 6 hours away, so I'm thinking that's a lot of time in the car. And she gets to see them every chance she gets. Her husband and her they both enjoy working in the yard, DIY projects, and camping a few times a year. So welcome, Cindy. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
There's so many little roads that we could go down of interest, but we're going to start with empty nest because I feel like that is such a big change in life. How did you feel about having an empty nest, and what kinds of things did you do?
Well, it was a form of grief is a way I've described it to friends. It's like, I'm grieving over the loss of a child that is not, passed or anything, I don't know. It was just a different feeling that, that they walked away from me. They kind of turned their back on me, so to speak. But I knew as a mother, I wanted to clip their wings and let them fly, of course. It was just a weird experience for me. And I just rolled with the punches. I know that, they were happy, so I had to convince myself I was happy, but it was difficult. It was a roller coaster of emotions, the way I described it to friends. One day I would be fine, and the next day I would be in tears, and just getting used to not talking to them every day, but, I grew up with what I kind of called a smother mother, where she knew she just knew my business. And I just really tried to back off and let my children, manifest whatever, and I just let them kind of take the wheel and let them call me and stuff like that. And so it's worked out great,
Right.
But it's
smart, really. You're
right.
smart.
And it's difficult even now that my daughter's been, 28 and she's been gone almost 10 years. It's still difficult to, not see them every day and be a everyday part of their life. So, but it didn't take, right.
Everybody who's been there can relate to that. So did you have anything that helped you with that made you get through it better or still get through it better?
Well, at that time I was considered one of the younger mothers. And so all my friends, I really just didn't have anybody to confide into. I mean, it was difficult. And, my husband didn't experience it the way I did.
No.
I just think he just didn't, it just didn't faze him the way it fazed me.
It's different.
But, I just kind of rolled with the punches, and eventually it got better, but it's not easy in the beginning.
No.
But, but then you start, like, for example, the room I'm in now is my craft room. It took me a few years to empty this room of her and create my own space. And so those little things just came natural. And so now, this space is mine, and, it just evolved, and it got better with time.
Plus, was she okay with that?
Oh yeah, she kind of teased me like, well, I guess, I can, just kind of, we laugh about it, but I keep her, she's got a walk-in closet here. I do keep all her NSYNC stuff and all her memorabilia, all that stuff is in the closet. So
it takes time, but eventually you will get rid of all their stuff.
I will eventually. And my husband tells her all the time, that closet up there, you need to get that stuff up to Kentucky, that type of thing. So,
right. I hear you on that. Oh my gosh. Well, that's really good. I mean, empty nest is such a big life change for a mom.
It is.
It really is. And it's funny because the longer away from it you are, the easier it is. They start building such life. You build your life.
Right, you do. You get more comfortable with it, and then you start seeing the pluses to it. I mean, it's just, we don't have to answer anything. If my husband and I want to jump in the car, just whatever. You just have a lot more freedom than you ever, but you don't see that in the beginning.
No. And you get a lot more pluses. Yes. You
Right.
Only 2 people instead of all of them. And then there's the plus of grandkids.
That's true. That's true.
You have 3, so let's hear about that.
Well, I have a 7-year-old grandson and a 4-year-old granddaughter that is Prissy Miss, and then another grandson that's 2. And 2 of them live in 6 hours away in Kentucky, and 1 lives on the opposite end of Tennessee in Knoxville. So, I miss them terribly. If it wasn't for FaceTime and modern technology, I would have already gone crazy. But we do stay in touch, and I just love and miss them. And now that the oldest one is getting ready to complete kindergarten, I just haven't gotten them like I used to because, he's committed to school. So, but I get them every chance I get.
Oh, and I'm sure that mom and dad appreciate that too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It gives them a break for sure.
I love that. Grandkids are the best. It changes who we are as women. We're in a whole new stage of who we are.
Right.
Grandparents.
Well, you're just, it is my mother always told me, you just have a different feeling about them. And I never did quite understand that. And now it's just, I just feel I'm more wiser. I'm more patient. it's just a different feeling. You know, when I was in my 20s, I don't know, I just, you know, when I look back, you know, I was just a different mother. You know,
Well,
you didn't know what you didn't know, you know,
I
type
totally
thing.
agree. I mean, you don't even know the kind of love that you can have for a
Exactly.
person until you have a grandkid. Okay,
Exactly.
but there is another love we have to talk about, and that's our doggies. When we
Yeah.
first started our call today, her dog, Cindy's dog, started barking, which set my dogs off, and they're barking across country to each other, which was super cute. Tell me what you got.
Well, I have 2 long-haired Dachshunds, and one is 7 and one is 4.
Oh,
And they are absolutely spoiled rotten. They're indoor dogs, of course. But when you ask me about what I use to kind of help me combat the depression or whatever with empty nester, that was the number one thing that happened. You know, we growing up, my mother really would never let pets inside the house. She was an immaculate housekeeper, and I just really never had in-house pets. And my husband got me a dog for Valentine's Day, and that absolutely filled a void that I cannot describe.
yeah.
And it was a lap dog. You know, those little Dachshunds are small dogs. And I tell you what, that dog helped me more than anything, you know.
That's a good
So,
point. I mean, that is a really good point, because now that you mentioned that, I felt the same way. It's a whole transference of what I had to give is now.
right. Caregiving and just, you know, it was needy. Those Dachshunds are very needy dogs. And it just filled this void I had. And absolutely, it was
Yeah, you can't be lonely when you have a sweet doggie. That's pretty
That's
cool.
true.
Okay, so tell me just briefly, what's it like in Memphis?
Well, you know, we're considered the Mid-South. It is very humid here, you know, very humid summers. We're a big,
Can't even imagine.
yeah, it is. It's just, you can't go walk to the mailbox and back without sweating. You know, like we've vacationed in Vegas and things before, and that's just a hot heat. But here in the Mid-South, it is just, you know, sweltering is what we call it.
I wouldn't want to go outside. I'd want to stay inside.
But we're a big music town. We're a big barbecue town, and we love both. The blues, the home of the blues, the home of barbecue, and it's a fun town. The home of Elvis, of course.
Elvis, yes. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
It's a fun town.
Except for the humidity, I would love all of it.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know, humidity does make your skin nice.
That's true. Yes, it might help with some moisture.
All southern women always have such beautiful skin because of that weather, I'm sure, because it's dry here. Okay, so I was hoping we could get into YouTube a little, and since you've been successful with YouTube, you've been on it for 6 years, I would love to just get a little insight. And my first question is, I know that Mimi is your grandma name, but how did you come to decide to make that your YouTube name too?
Well, you know, before I started my YouTube channel, you know, when I became Mimi, that's where the name come from. The mixed bag part, you know, it was just, I didn't want to define myself. I didn't want to make Mimi's craft channel, and I did, you know, lifestyle channel. I'm not any kind of expert in lifestyle or anything like that, you know. And I just, I had started a little home business making crafts and doing some, you know, jewelry and things like that. And I thought, well, you know, mixed bag kind of is a broad enough term to where I didn't really want to isolate myself to just one thing, you know. And so that's the reason why it just kind of, I already had kind of had Mimi's mixed bag, you know, on the back burner. And so I just used that. I mean, that's where it came from. And that way I could just share anything I found interesting, you know.
Anything goes. I love that. And so that's how you came. So why? I mean, why YouTube, and why did you start?
Well, I didn't start it till after my mother's passing, and I just found myself with a lot of extra time, and this creative, you know, energy had just built up to, you know, because, you know, being an educator, especially in lower elementary, it really fed my creative soul, so to speak.
Right.
And I was just, you know, and really I did a couple projects every week anyway. I was all the time making a wreath or doing some little project at home, and thought, you know, I'm just going to turn the camera on and start sharing it. And you know, and I really didn't do that until actually I had gotten on YouTube and noticed that people were doing that. That's where I really got the idea, and had no idea this huge community or communities were out there of every interest under the sun.
Anything you want to know.
I mean, anything. And so I started watching a few crafty videos, and I thought, well, heck, I can do that. And so I just started playing around. I had no idea how to even do it, and I had no local friends that did this sort of thing. So I got on my computer and taught myself how to do iMovie, and I'm still learning. I mean, my channel's still very amateur because I've taught myself everything, and, you know, and just had fun with it. Yeah, it is a complete hobby. And it's just one of those things that I just share what I'm doing anyway, or, you know, find interesting. So
let me ask you this. Have you had any unexpected opportunities from your channel?
Well, I tell you, one of them happened a couple years ago. I did a video a couple years ago on let's see, I'm trying to think of what I named it. It was like the struggle of yo-yo dieting. And I'm all the time on a diet. I'll do real good and lose 10 pounds and gain it back or whatnot. And it's just, and I'm all the time dieting some new fad, shake or points or whatever. And I just thought I would share some of my struggles. And it was just a little 5-minute thing. It wasn't any big deal. Well, this lady emailed me from Chicago and said that she was with Prevention Magazine, and they were doing an article in the fall. This was last June or last May, and doing an article. Wanted to know if they could call me in a few days and interview me. I said, sure. So she called a few days later. We did an hour-long interview. She asked me if I would send a few pictures of my yo-yoing over the last 30 years. So I sent like prom pictures and after childbearing and, you know, various events in life. And then she called back a few weeks later and said, well, we've decided we're just going to fly down there and take your picture.
Wow.
Well, that's kind of odd. You know, why can't I just send you a picture, or why can't you just prepay for me to get my picture taken somewhere here in Tennessee and send it to you? But anyway, so long story short, they fly in a photographer from New York. They fly in a makeup artist from Nashville. And I called my best friend the day when I knew they were coming, and I was scared to death thinking, you know, this could be some kind of setup. I mean, I didn't, but anyway, it was all legit. It was it was the day in the life of a supermodel. I kid you not.
Oh,
these vans pulled up, transformed my home, my living room and my garage into a photo shoot place. And that happened last June. Now it's June, and the magazine came out this past September, and
so recent.
Yeah, and it was a surreal experience. But I mean, it took them 7 hours to take 1,000 shots, and they picked one picture for the magazine.
I don't know if I've told you that we are photographers. That's what
well, I knew you did, and I thought, well, she'll like it. But
I totally understand exactly, and it is crazy. But that is
the lady who did my makeup. I had never in my life makeup completely done and I asked her who she had done before. She says, you name a country star in Nashville and I've done them. I thought, oh my gosh. Yeah. And I asked her, you know, I said, who made you the most nervous? She said, well, believe it or not, she said, I've done every country star you can imagine, but I did John Bon Jovi one time. And she said, I was so nervous because I had such a high school crush on him. I could barely do his makeup. And we laughed about that, but they were very down to earth, made me feel comfortable. But I tell you, I've learned the job of a supermodel is incredibly difficult.
I would not want to be a model. I see what they have to go through.
Oh my gosh, it is a lot of work.
Yes, totally.
But anyway, that was the most unique experience I've ever had with YouTube, being in a magazine.
Crazy. So you're famous.
I'm famous. Yeah, my friends, it's an ongoing joke, you know, I'm famous, you know, but we laugh.
So let me ask you, moving back to the channel, what do you like about your YouTube channel? What is fun to you and what don't you like?
Well, listen, I mean, I love my channel. I really wish that I would make myself take more time with it. You know, I'm still so amateur when I look at other people, and for the longest time, and here's one thing is when I started this YouTube, my husband just said, you know, he didn't take it very serious. And I told him I wanted a better camera, and you know, and it was hard. And then he realized after a couple years, this wasn't going to go away. It's something I truly love doing. It's just fun. For several years, I did use my phone because it was just easier and it worked. You know.
Great. What advice would you have for a total beginner, maybe even someone who hasn't started yet and they just want to and they don't know what to do?
Well, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is pretty much common sense. You know, you have to be yourself. You can't pretend somebody you're not. And the most important thing is to think of something that you're knowledgeable about or something that you're comfortable with. I mean, you'd just be shocked at the topics that, you know, channels are based on. Right. You know, it could be, you know, you could even start an online book club. You know, your channel could be all about books, or if you read, or, you know, jewelry making, or just whatever. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just the world is a canvas, you know. That's the most important thing. As far as, you know, I know at the beginning, I was kind of obsessed with this subscriber count thing. And really and truly.
How do you get followers and how do people find you?
You know, yeah, you know, the first year or so, you know, that's all I kind of dwelled on. I check it every day, and it was funny because it would go up one or two one day and then down one or two. I'd constantly gain and lose, up and down. And I thought, how does anybody get anywhere? Well, you know, after about a year, I don't know what it is, just something clicked in me, and I just quit worrying about it and just let it. Just if you can possibly let go of that subscriber thing and just let it grow. Be consistent in filming, at least put out something once a week, you know, to keep people interested. Let's see, and engage with other creators. You don't want to do, and some of you may have seen this, you know, don't go to someone's channel and say, you know, would you please sub for sub? I see that sometimes. That is a total turnoff. That's really a disrespect thing to do. You know, go to someone else's channel and say, look, I'm a new YouTuber. I would love for you to check out my channel, or do you have any tips? Or, you know, just approach them in a classy way, and you'd be surprised. You know, a lot of YouTubers are more than willing to help others, you know, might give you a shout out. I do remember a really sweet lady in Florida. She gave me a shout out, and I actually got some subscribers off of that.
That's so cool.
You know. And join collabs. There's a lot of tags and collabs where you can participate, and that will kind of link you in with other, you know,
someone doesn't know what a tag and a collab is.
Yeah. A tag is just kind of like a funny little game, or like a little 10 questions about me, or like I created a tag one time that got me lots of subscribers. I called it the Everyday Kitchen Tag. Oh. And I created it myself, and I ended up just saying whoever wanted to do it could do it. And I just thought of 10 questions like, what is your favorite kitchen gadget? What is your favorite go-to recipe? What is your most cherished item in your kitchen? You know, just fun.
That
10 little
fun.
questions. Yeah, and I reached out to several YouTubers and said, I'd love for you to do this. And sure enough, it just kind of took off. And, you know, just little things like, it's just like when you start a new school or a new job, you've got to reach out. You've got to put yourself out there and make yourself known a little bit, you know, make friends.
It's like almost like making friends, you know.
Exactly. You got to make friends. But it's been a lot of fun. I don't regret it at all. It's just been a lot of fun, and it's really served a purpose in my life. Yeah.
Well, okay, so out there you're interacting. How many channels do you follow, and how much time do you spend on it, and how do you find new channels to watch, and just kind of how does that work in your
well, you know, it's really difficult to be a creator and you know, to have the time to keep up with all the channels. I mean, I'm probably subscribed to, you know, I think I'm down to maybe about 50 channels now, but it's still I'm constantly all over the place. You know, I'm all the time clicking on the weirdest stuff to watch, you know, and a lot of times when you do click on a channel, you know, it will pull up related channels, and it just kind of, you know, you find channels like that.
How do you decide what you're going to make a video about?
Well, well, for the longest time, I just winged it, because I was already doing a couple projects a week anyway. And like I said, I would just turn the camera on and share what I'm doing. And then last year, I decided, like, one of the advice of my mentor is, she said, you really need to maybe set up a filming schedule so that your subscribers will know what to expect. So last year, I kind of put a 2 video a week, requirement on myself or whatever. And that was a little stressful for me. And I really stuck with it most of the year. I really tried to, and I have a notebook, and I still keep it, but I was constantly looking through magazines and online for ideas that I could tweak. Not that I want to copy anybody, but for example, if I found a very cute patriotic centerpiece, how could I use that same type of project and make it into a Christmas one where I kind of made it my own? So that was a way for me to, come up with video ideas, that I wasn't copying somebody. Or sometimes, it does not have to be original ideas. I've learned that, you find something cute, you just want to share it. Say, look, you may not have seen this, but I think it's so cute, I'm going to make it and share it, that type thing. So,
what do all your friends and family think about your YouTube channel?
Well, they all know about it. It's really kind of an unspoken thing. Every once in a while, someone will say, they'll mention it, but, it may be just kind of like, they don't know what to say about it because they don't know how it works. I don't know. But like my friends it's just an ongoing joke. Like, well, what would Mimi do? That type thing, or, how would Mimi do this? And it's just, and of course I'm easygoing, and we just laugh about it. But,
well, I have to ask you, what is your most watched or most popular video?
Well, I didn't notice it till the other day, but I noticed that I had almost 300 videos, like 296 or 298, something like that.
Gosh, that's so many.
And one of the most popular video is one I did about a year into it, and I can hardly stand to watch it now because I'm way too wordy. That was one of my advice, is that cut to the chase, Cindy.
I loved it.
Get on with it. And we had an old dead tree out by our mailbox. Well, I had my husband, I actually saw it somewhere, not the exact thing, but he cut the stump like this and put a roof on it and made it into like a gnome house.
Oh, cute.
Well, and I bought a little ceramic gnome and put outside a little lantern, and we put some little windows on it, little wooden windows. Anyway, it just looked like a little dollhouse. Well, I want you to know, I made a video of the whole process, and like I said, I can barely stand to hear it now because I wasn't really honed in on my editing skills too much. But that thing, when I had a company contact me, asked me, could they redistribute my video? And I said, well, sure, one video. So I it was littlethings.com is the company. And I want you to know that video is now close to 3.2 million views.
Million
views.
How crazy, right?
I know. And like I said, it's not even one of my better videos. I can't stand to even listen to myself. But when you put yourself out there on YouTube, that's another thing. You've got to take the good with the bad. You've got to have some tough skin. If you are a sensitive person, YouTube is not for you.
That's true.
Because out of over 3 million views, I've got tons and tons, and 99% of my comments on my videos are always positive. But you've got some that are real, warriors behind a keyboard, or whatever you want to call it. And I tell you what, they can say some pretty cruel things that, is not necessary. But, you got to put yourself out there and take the good with the bad.
Yeah, that's their problem, really.
All right, but it has been such a kick watching this video, because on YouTube you can click on there and see your, I think the word's analytics or something like that, where you can see where these videos are going, and it'll be in Germany 1 month, it'll be in Portugal, or it's just been fascinating to watch that video go all over the world.
Crazy, and I just love it. And is that still out in your yard?
It is out in my yard. It sure is.
It is so cute. Okay, in closing, I wanted to find out what your future plans are.
Well, let's see. I don't really have any definite plans, only because, in the next 5 years, our future is so unpredictable, and it's one of the things where who knows where we may end up. I want to spend the rest of my life near family. And if it takes me moving to them, then that's what it takes, And so it's just one of the things. But the good thing is with YouTube, it'll go with me. And, and I do plan on doing it. I really do plan on, improving my computer skills and my filming skills and whatever else it takes. But for right now, we're just, riding the wave.
Well, it sounds like life is good.
It is very good.
I just cannot thank you enough for taking your time to spend with all of us and to share your insights and a little bit about you behind the scenes. Just thank you so much. And is there any last minute things you'd like to say or something?
Well, not anything other than, anyone is welcome to contact me if they would like to know some more about YouTube. But, I'm an open book and very approachable, and I'll be glad to share anything I know that could help you in any way. But it's been a lot of fun, and I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like this video. That's that thumbs up you see down below. And again, thank you to Cindy, Mimi's Mixed Bag. I'm going to definitely put all the information in the description. And just so enjoyed this time very much. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.